So let's get back on track and start talking about birds again here. Yeah, my name is Steve Kolbe. I'm an avian ecologist at NRI. Look forward to talking with many of you at the poster session in just a few minutes. I'll be talking about the avian responses to peatland forest management. This is a small part of a large project that many folks in the room are involved with, looking at peatland forests throughout the state, looking at wildlife, hydrology, and vegetation. So just a real quick recap. We looked at a total of 48 sites throughout the state, which are the yellow dots you can sort of see on the map there, and stratified over cover type, so tamarack, productive black spruce, and stagnant black spruce, and 4 different age classes. So, with 4 replicates of each, that gives you a total of 48 sites. For the wildlife portion of things, we went out and visited these 48 sites twice this summer, and I should mention this is the first summer of work, and we will be conducting the second summer once the snow goes away. And we went to all 48 sites twice and counted a bunch of birds that were singing and calling at these sites, and we also put out recorders, which is that little thing in the corner there, that could listen for birds when we ourselves were not there. And this isn't to say that all forests or all cover types don't have birds, because they certainly do. And in fact, we, in our 48 stands, we documented 80 species of birds and close to 100 species of birds sort of in the general region. So there's a lot of birds that use these cover types regardless of age and time since harvest and stuff like that. But when you look at a figure like this is for species that are peatland forest obligate breeders, and so you can see that age of the forest is very important for these species, and it's more important when you realize that a lot of these peatland forest breeding birds are rapidly declining in Minnesota and throughout our range, and so we're really interested in these sort of implications. We also wanted to look at 2 species on sort of a very fine scale. Instead of thinking about all 80 species or 100 species or whatever, we wanted to focus on 2 that are species of conservation concern, boreal chickadee and Connecticut warbler. And so we went out and spent a whole bunch of time in a few sites and looked for nests, found baby birds. This is the Connecticut warbler nest on the top or on the left there, and a Connecticut warbler fledgling in the middle. Look how cute that is with this little so we went and found lots of nests and young birds, and then we tracked them. And we wanted to know what these fledgling birds do, where they go, who they go with, how long they stay in those areas during the period of time right after they leave the nest. This is a period of time during a bird's life that mortality occurs at a higher rate than any other time. So if you make it out of this time period, you're more likely to move on into the next generation and produce offspring yourself. And so we wanted to figure out where these peatland obligate breeding birds spend this time. And so, we've been doing that for one summer. We're hopefully going to get lots more birds next summer. But just to give you sort of a sneak peek, this is sort of something that we generated for a brood of boreal chickadees. If you can see on the right-hand side of the purple box, there's a little red dot. That's where the nest was. And they travel a long way. This is over about a month of the first month of their life. This is sort of surprising to us. They cover a pretty large area for a bird that's about, a chicken nugget size. It travels a long way. And so this is really an important thing for if you're trying to manage this species. You want to know, well, they don't just use this area where they're singing or this area where they're nesting, but they use a much larger area. So that's just sort of a quick hit on what we're doing in the bird lab and at NRI. And this is what the poster looks like. This is what I look like. We're both friendly. We'll be right over there. If peatland forests aren't your thing, the bird lab at NRI also has a poster in the classroom looking at early successional species doing something similar with tracking them and their movement. So thank you.